Peace, everyone. Welcome to another segment of community. What do we call this? Community radio or the community show? Community. Welcome to another segment of community on enlightenment and transformation. Of course, this is Chief Yuya speaking, and I'm just filling in for Sister Kim just for a moment. She's handling some business on the back end. So I told her that I would begin the segment for her. I just want to give everyone a heads up. Those of you who are listening through YouTube, of course, on this later, and those of you who may be listening from the Blog Talk Radio online link, the new guest call-in is 515-605-9862. Again, that's 515-605-9862. Okay, so that's the number that you would call for the guest. And if you just have a question, comment, concern, whatever it is, rant, just hit the number one. You know, one of the things I know that has kind of happened with this show, which is a good thing, you know, it's really gone into different kinds of directions in terms of I think it really intensified with some of the conversations that were being had surrounding just dating scenarios and relationship scenarios and things like that, because obviously those are very passionate subjects for people, you know. But I think it's important to remember that with this show, that the original intent was for individuals just to be able to kind of reach out and call in on whatever it is that was on their mind, especially those who are a part of the Anu experience, we'll say, or enjoying the Anu experience. So I just wanted to reiterate that so no one feels like they have to just speak about relationships or whatever it is that the subject of the show is. So that's why this show, we didn't title it. We decided to just kind of allow individuals to freestyle a little bit. So just to kind of open it up a little bit and clear the air for whatever. All right, so I'm going to take a call in from 904. I see a hand just went up. 904, you're on community.
Chief Yuya, how you doing? Peace, brother. How you doing?
Hey, peace, brother Tareen. I'm good. Everything's good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I have two questions for you, sir, if you don't mind. Okay. First question is, do you know, I'm pretty sure you heard of it, Getty Nimbo?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Could you elaborate or explain to me when someone gets their Getty Nimbo, like what exactly does that entail, Chief? Like what does that mean for the person who's receiving that?
All right. First off, why are you asking me this? Give me the contextual background. I need the context.
Yes, sir. The reason why I asked because I got mine from my godparents this week.
Okay.
And he explained.
I figured that was the background.
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And he was telling me a little bit about it, but I didn't understand to the full extent of what was going on with it. Like as far as you know.
Now, why didn't you understand what was going on?
Okay, I didn't understand because. Hold on 1 second, Chief. I'm sorry. I'm at work. Could you put me on? I'm gonna be on mute real quick.
All right.
I'm sorry.
No problem, brother. I understand. You know, matter of fact, good. I'm glad you're working. Congratulations. I shouldn't just say that I understand. So Tareen is calling in and he's asking about the Gede. And the Gede, if anyone is familiar or not familiar, those are pretty much the like the Egungun or the Egun, really the Egungun that we have in our Yoruba tradition or just your ancestral energies, and you have different forms of Gede, you know, so which is always kind of the, you know, with and when you're dealing with Gede, most time you're dealing with Haitian voodoo. Okay, obviously different than New Orleans voodoo or Benin Vudun, being more closer to the root. Okay, so the Gede are your ancestral energies, and there are a bunch of Gede. So when you say the term Gede, you're really talking about like a family of energies. It's not just like there is not one Gede, So and just so you all know too, that's the case with the Orisha too. Like when we speak about Ogun or Batala or Oshun or Shango, that's actually a title. It's not actually the name of a specific energy. So it would be like, if you said, I don't know, Oshun Gere, which is a form of Oshun. Gere is actually the entity. Gere is the actual name, but Oshun is kind of like a surname, like it coming from the family of Oshun, Gere from the family Oshun. So, like he said, he received Gede Nimbo, Nibo, and Gede Nibo is Nibo from the family Gede. Okay, so you're talking about a specific energy, and he's very similar to Bawan Samdi, very similar to Eshu in that Nebo is like a kind of like a guardian, a gateway energy, as many of the Gede are. But each energy represents something different, of course. So that Gede Nebo is kind of like a intercessory between you and ancestral energies. Okay, I heard you came back, brother. Did you wanted to give me more information? Okay, I guess he's still working. So yeah, now the reason I asked that question, now you probably, those of you who know me a little bit by now, you probably know I'm not going to give him that much information because that's what your godparent is supposed to do. So that's why I asked for the context. I had a feeling that's what it was, because people call him questions like that all the time. All right, so wait a minute. So what does this mean? What does that mean? And it's like the person who gave it to you asked them. And I know a lot of times like there may be a language barrier or whatever, but respectfully, you got to put people to work. Respectfully. There's a way to do it. But sometimes when we're going through those ceremonies and stuff, we're afraid to ask questions, or ooh, about that. Let me turn that down. 1 second, guys. All right, there we go. My Bluetooth was pushing through my my stereo, so my phone was ringing through my stereo. But yeah, a lot of times people are a little nervous about asking certain questions and things like that, and they end up receiving things like he's now received an energy, and that's the Gede. There's very powerful energies, man. Especially the one that he got, because it's an intercessory energy. Okay, so and it's a very hot energy. That particular one that he's working with, the one that he received, and that's the one that you kind of. Go ahead, brother. I'm listening.
I'm sorry. I'm listening to you too as I'm working, and I was so with me working. So are you saying that I need to be cautious when working with the Gede energy? Like, because I don't want to hurt myself or, anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
How would you work with your Gede?
Well, I would ask for steps and guidance for healing, like black magic powers, powers to heal, and, like psychic abilities to help my family and friends. That's
That's
the main
okay.
part.
When you received Nimbo, were you told that's what you should go to that energy for?
No, sir, I wasn't told that at all. He just told me. Okay.
So I wouldn't work with it at all. You have to learn what to do with it. You see?
Right.
You don't go everywhere for everything. Certain energies have their specialty, and there's even certain ways that you're supposed to approach certain energies. Now, no shots thrown at your godfather at all. But that's kind of the information you're supposed to get when you receive those artifacts. So I would go back and ask for an instructional. Possible? Is it possible? Is it possible for you to get an instructional on the energy?
Yeah. Yes, sir. I believe so. I believe I can call him and ask him.
Yeah. So I would just try to get a rundown. Okay. Why? Find out why you received the energy. Start there. Why did I get this? How am I supposed to maintain it? You want to ask about maintenance. You know, what should I do? Should I do something every day on specific days of the month, so forth and so on? What food should I give to this energy? And what is this energy going to do for me and my family in return? You see, so you got to ask those questions. Now, I could tell you, but I don't want to because you went to him to go do that. Let him do that. You know, that's his job.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's his job. And you know what? And I may tell you something that may conflict with what he may tell you. We got, you know, priest beef. We don't need that.
No. No.
Yeah,
I wouldn't try to insinuate that, man. I just when I go through these things, man, I be trying to get, you know, an understanding, a thorough understanding. Like I'm wondering, okay, so does this mean that I get to work with the spirits, or does this mean that I'm just showing myself to them so they can protect me and my family? Like, you know, different stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, you jumped in the wrong way, man. Mm-hmm. You know, again, you shouldn't be receiving stuff that you don't understand. You know, that's not the way you should be doing this, man. So, and I know sometimes it's difficult because when you're working with someone and they're like, "Here, I'm going to do this for you," you know, you're happy and you're grateful because they're doing something for you, but you don't even know what you just put up in the middle of your house. You know, so, or on your yard or whatever. So it's important for you to, before you even take that stuff home, and this is what I advise people, before you leave that shrine, you get all your questions in, you know, and in particular, where should I put this? Is another question, you know. But certainly when you're dealing with the Gede, again, like I said, you're dealing with ancestral energies and, you know, the Gede, even though people always associate them with the cemetery because it's ancestral, Nimbo in particular is a little different because Nimbo is like the alpha and omega, you know, like the beginning and the end. So, you know, you're dealing with cycles, but I'll let your godfather explain that to you, to break that science down to you. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, thank you, Chief. One more question, man. Mm-hmm. One more question, man. I missed the man's conference call. I didn't know if Sister Kim had put my email, because I never did get an email for the men's call. I missed it Sunday.
Oh, you did?
Yes, sir.
No, actually, Brother Charles is the one who coordinates that. So he's the one who would have gotten your email that you sent in, your customer service email. Because the emails, when that customer service box, it doesn't all go to Sister Kim. It's kind of like a central repository, and everyone grabs what pertains to them out of that box. Yeah, so that would have went to the brother. I think he gave out his email one of the last shows. You might want to check in with him directly because you filled out the membership form for Anu, right?
Yes. Well, my understanding, Sister Kim told me that she was gonna send my email on through. I haven't physically filled out one, but she told me she was gonna send it on through. So I thought I was straight, you know.
Nah, you might not have been. That was a misunderstanding. That was my fault. Okay, that was a misunderstanding that everyone received from me because I told them, and I kind of told them a little late, so it's probably my fault, that if a person has not joined the ministry, then they're not on that call. That's not an open call for the world. Okay, so, but I thought you did fill out the form. I could be mistaken. I thought you actually did. But in either case, you have to be a part of the ministry to be on the call. So what he probably did, she probably forwarded it to him. He saw it, but he compared it with the list, the ministry list, and that may be why you didn't get the email, because that's where he was emailing people from, was from that list. That again is my fault. I apologize about that. I didn't make that clear in the very beginning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my bad, man. But yeah, I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to be a part of the ministry and the men's conference.
Just go to anulifeglobal.org, ANULIFEGLOBAL.org, or you could download, if you have an Android phone.
You got a serial number on your paperwork, and you just put one on there.
Oh,
you're in trouble now. you
okay,
didn't get the memo.
My bad.
But just for those listening, there's an Anu Android app that you guys can download, and in that app, it has the sign up as well to join the ministry. So you could do it right from there as well. We're gonna have the iOS, the Apple app coming out soon, but Apple is much slower than Google, than Android. So the Apple version probably won't be out for like another month or so. But you can go to the Google Play Store and just search Our New Nation, and you can download the app. Of course, it's free. But so that's just if Tareen, if you heard me, or anyone else listening. I know that guy just came in, told him he didn't get the TP memo, so you got to deal with that. But I know Sister Kim is with us now.
Greetings.
Well, I thought Sister Kim. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Peace.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. Greetings. I have a question about, and I know Tareem probably can't chime back in, but maybe he can do it a little bit later. I know sometimes we get a lot of calls from people who are already affiliated with other houses or have received things from other houses. And I'm just wondering, like, what is the procedure for them? Because I know that a lot of times we get calls like that, and we've had shows where we have talked about the responsibilities that you have to that house and what they have to you. So how should they go about doing that? Because it's like they don't get explanation from where they are, from where they're at, and they get all this stuff, and then they come to you for the answers, but they're not really a part of what we're doing. So it's like they come to you to get answers, then they go back over there, then they go somewhere else and get something else, they go somewhere else, get something else, then they come back and ask you. To me, that's just like me being a part of I Knew, and then going behind your back and getting a reading from some other Babalawo or getting certain ceremonies done, and then coming back to you and say, oh, I got this. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's wrong. But, the sisters always point stuff out. Yeah, it's not the right thing to do. Normally, historically, what I've always done is I've always told people to ask permission of, like I've had people who've wanted to study under me, but they're part of an Ile. So I will always say, like, go clear it first so it doesn't cause any conflicts. Make sure it's cool with your godfather, godmother. But, the other thing, too, a lot of times people are saying godfather, godmother, but the relationship isn't all that tight. So somebody might say this is my godfather, but they've only seen him once in 2 years, or maybe never even have seen him. So they're more like free agents. As far as like what he just did, no, I didn't give him much information because of that exact reason. You got to ask the priest that you're working with, and it's not a shot against Tareen at all. What it is that by me not giving that kind of information, I hope to try to box people in a little bit, because if you're calling somebody your godfather, that's a heavy responsibility. So don't let them get out of their responsibility. So if I answer that question now, then the godfather may not be doing what they're supposed to do, or may not have the urging to do what they're supposed to do. So that's the reason why I really didn't answer. It wasn't because I felt like he was doing something wrong, because in all likelihood, a lot of times, now that this is the messed up statement, but I got to kind of make it. A lot of times, and I'm not saying this about I don't even know who his godfather is. All right, so this is a general statement. A lot of times in my experience, the people who are giving these artifacts don't even know what they mean themselves. So if you're a godchild or a student of that person, you kind of get a sense of that. Or you may ask a question like, what's this for? They give you a real general answer. But people kind of know with me, I don't give those type of answers. So they know that they can get better information from me. Now, the question, of course, would be, I'm sure you might have, well, why don't they just mess with me? Well, sometimes because, right, that's probably where you was going with that.
Right.
Sometimes people, like their godparents are local to them. And I've always encouraged people to join local groups. So it's like, well, I come here locally because this is where the shrine is. It's 10 minutes from my house, but I come and get my education from you. And personally, I don't care. At the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything to me. Even if you get a reading from me and then go get a reading from someone, people do that all the time. Get a reading from me, get a reading from someone else, keep asking the same question. I move on with my life. It doesn't matter. They're messing themselves up like that. But I do know a lot of times, people who are local to other people don't have as much. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything like that, but they may not just have been exposed to as much information as I have. But they have a nice shrine. Maybe they have, they have drummers and dancers and that, you don't want to give that up. So that's why I've noticed sometimes people will kind of dip and dive a little bit. But I would say like with Tareen, that's dangerous because you got something you don't even know what it is. So that is also a very typical thing that happens in the spiritual community, which that honestly, oh man, and I got to be careful because I don't want to kick dirt or seem like I'm kicking dirt on his godfather. But me personally, I just don't think people, let's just say I wouldn't do that. I'm not going to give something to you that you don't understand. Okay. And that's why I don't initiate as many people who want to be initiated by me, because you have to learn the culture and the mentality. You got to deal with the character development first. And we might be doing that for 2 years, before you're really ready to make that step. Because once you start inviting these energies and these archetypes to be more prominent in your psyche, you have to know how to have dominance over them. And if you haven't been built up and trained to be able to dominate them, it's not that you're inviting some crazy spirit into your house. It's nothing like that. You're just pulling out something that's already in you and you're making it more prominent. But you need to understand what it is that you're pulling out in order to be able to dominate it like you should be, So everybody has their own kind of theory on it, I suppose, as far as what they should do. But yeah.
I have one more question about that. So when people go and get these things from a person, from a house or whatever, are these people just giving it to them, or are they specifically going to them and asking for it or paying for it and paying for it? Because like I know when I got my consecration, I asked about it. There was a consult that was done before. Well, first of all, the consult that was done before I did it, you talked me through it, told me what to expect. And then I decided, I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and pay for it. And then when I got it, I didn't just go and say, here's my money, I want this pot. Or here's my money, I want this. So is this something that because I know Tareen can't speak right now, but I'm wondering, is this something that he asked for and actually paid for, or was it just given to him?
Yeah. Well, it sounds like maybe he can come. Sounds like he can come in and out as need be, but it happens both ways, different ways. Sometimes you get a reading and the priest will say, you need to have this in your house. Come back next Wednesday, I'll have it ready for you, whatever. And then sometimes people will call and want things specifically. I get those a lot, but sometimes they don't know what they're asking for. Right. So people will call me and say, I want my leques. And I'll say, well, what are, me, I'm always going to ask you a question. And I'll play dumb. What are leques? And then they're beads for protection. Yes and no. Who told you about the leques? Where'd you get that idea? I'll start asking those questions. Usually it'll be something on the internet, and then I'll kind of slow the person up. So it happens different ways, in terms of that. I had someone call me yesterday, said that they wanted to get initiated. They want me to initiate them. And I said, why do you want to be initiated? And they said it came up in a reading that they're supposed to be initiated. So I said, well, why don't you have a person who read you initiate you? And they were saying that it was a while ago and they felt bad because they didn't do it then and so forth and so on. And I'm like, none of this makes any sense. Aside from that, you don't even know what an initiation is. You don't even know. And the person's like, oh, I know all about the Orisha. I know about the, and they didn't. I was asking basic questions that they couldn't answer. So everyone has their own style. My thing is education over initiation. However, if we all lived on the same plot of land, and I know I could get at you every day, I probably would initiate people much sooner than what I do. Because I know, like, on the residual follow-up, I can stay in their face and educate them and bring them through a process. But a lot of times somebody will want to get something and you'll do the service for them, you never see them again. And I don't want that. That's not how I operate. And I don't like people wasting their money. So I don't want you to get something that you don't understand. But I will say, like, what you experienced and what you're going through, I don't know anybody who works like I work. Again, not to toot my own horn or anything like that, but I don't know anyone who gives as much instruction and caution and education before actually doing a ritual with you as I do. Not to say that those people don't exist. I'm sure they're out there. But the profundity of what comes across my table are people who just were given some pots or something and the godparent disappeared. Or the godparent doesn't really talk any English. Because sometimes you got these traveling priests, they're passing through from Cuba or passing through from Nigeria, and they're like on a tour. And they just come and they do little rituals and then they go back home. And they don't hardly speak any English. My thing is, if you don't know what you're getting, and you're not going to know it through and through. You ain't going to know Gede Nimbo like through and through. It takes years to learn these energies. But have a basic understanding of just how you should port yourself around the energy. How should I stand? Should I go on my knees in front of it? Should I stand? Should I do this? Should I take my shirt off? Should I light incense? Should I not light incense? Should I light candle? Not light candle? Should I put it in the basement? Should I put it in the attic? Should I put it outside? At least those type of things. And then even if you have a godparent who's not going to be around much, at least try to get some type of learning material going forward. Whether it's a write-up or a reference to some books or some videos, something, so you can further your studies. So some people will use me to further their studies, but I usually don't let that happen. Because I don't. My thing is, let's back up, because if you're still learning all about this the wrong way. You went and got this fetish, and now you calling me asking me about it. And again, Taurine, I'm not kicking you back. I'm talking in general, because what you just called about, a lot of people call about stuff like that.
Right.
But my thing is, you got this thing, and you didn't know what it was. I know you paid for it, and now you asking another person who's on the internet, who's distanced from you, information on it. But at no point are you really getting someone who's in your immediate community working with you and going to that pot, physically touching it, showing you how to feed it, so forth and so on. So that's why I like to try to stay out of that, because you calling in on a free call-in show on the internet trying to get information about something that's extremely important. And I don't want to, fuel and perpetuate that bad culture. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of times I won't really give information on it. I'll pull back unless that person is in my community. Like if it was Charles or Tyre or Zach or any of the other students, there's a lot of them. These are people who they make it their business that when they're in my area, they look me up. They'll email me, hey, Chief, I'm coming up there for this and that. If you have some time. And a lot of people say, yeah, bring your elekes with you. Bring your pot with you. Bring your obi with you. Or sometimes I'll be like, bring everything with you. Put it in your trunk. And when they're here, I'll give them a little lesson or feed them. And for some of those people, when I'm passing through their areas, I'll say, hey, I'm driving down to the Keys or something. So I'll be passing every East Coast state, so bring your stuff out. I'll give you some lessons on the way. If I don't have that type of relationship or access to the person, I'm careful as to what I may share in that sense,
Okay. And just for everybody that's listening, I'll give another example of kind of what I'm talking about, is because I remember at one point you gave me a certain Odu. And I'm not going to say what it was or when it was, but you gave me a certain Odu. And you didn't just give it to me. We talked about it. And then you told me how to open it up. Right. So even in just getting an Odu, like just in a reading, a lot of people maybe don't even ask, well, what am I supposed to do with that? Or what does that mean? Or they just get an interpretation. But like you said, there are ways to even work with Odu.
Right.
There are certain things that you're supposed to do with that. And so I don't even think that a lot of people even know maybe that there are things that you can do with, because I definitely didn't know. Like when I got certain Odus or whatever, I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do with that? And you told me, it's like, okay, well, this is one way. And this was just one way. It wasn't even, a bunch of different things you told me to do with it, but you gave me one just to start. Okay, this is one way you can open it up. And there was a ritual that went along with it. And I received a lot just from working with that one Odu. I got a lot of information in just about that particular Odu. So
yeah, but
I was just going to say, so the things that you get don't necessarily have to be like a fetish or elekes or anything like that. Sometimes you're given things that you need to further ask for an explanation on, and you need to figure out, okay, what am I supposed to do with that? Because the readings are not like fortune telling readings. Okay, this is the Odu that came up for you, and this is what you're doing, and this is what like there are other things that you can do with just that.
Mm-hmm. Well, keep in mind, I think it's important, especially for those listening, I don't deal with everyone like that. Mm-hmm. So if I can't walk you through that process like I did with you, I'm not going to do a consecration with you. I'm not going to initiate you. So you had to be built up to that. You weren't like that day one,
right?
Where then I could start talking to you about Odu. There was a process of getting you to that point. So again, education over initiation. Mm-hmm. So everyone may not particularly do that. And also the cost of your consecration was like nothing, So for anyone to understand too, when I do consecrations, and I'm just going to put it out there so you guys know, I actually don't make any money off the consecrations. And I think you remember, Kim, that one that we did for those people. Remember when we went and I paid for those really expensive. I was making the elekes,
yes.
and I got and I told you, by the time I do all of this, I'm actually losing money. By the time I paid for the supplies for the consecration, I think I was out maybe like $30, after everything was said and done. So I'm not doing the work for money. So that makes a big difference. So I'm not like just trying to herd everybody in and come on, you want to get in the shade, you want to get it, all right, send me your check. So that makes a difference in terms of the integrity of the work. And plus, because I know I'm not getting money, I want to make sure that this sticks. Now, I could charge more because my consecrations are more like initiations, in terms of what I do and the amount of work.
But lasted a few days.
Right, exactly. So it's a heavy job that I do, but but it's the building up. It's everything that happens before. It's everything that happens after. And that's when you really coming into a tradition. A lot of people are just receiving one ritual here and there, whatever. They're not really coming into the tradition. So you can't really explain those things to them. Like, I'm not just going to take somebody off the street, says they want to get initiated, take them through the process, and then start teaching them old dudes. Nah, that would be irresponsible of me, as a Babalawo. So I'm not doing something like that. People who are in my community who I've been working with and continue to work with, then I give them the gems that I may not give other people. I'll give them a little bit extra because I can monitor them. Like, I know if they're doing something out of pocket or whatever, which sometimes happens. And then I can say, wait a minute, no, you're doing that wrong. Or maybe their character is funny. And I might say, yeah, you still stingy, or you still this, or you still that. So don't leave that Odu alone. There's times where I've taken people's divination tools. They've had powers, say, hey, give them to me for a little while. You're going to poke your eye out. I'll give them back to you when you're ready to have them. See, that's all the things that a priest and a chief can do in a communal setting, but someone just coming straight off the street wanting services or whatever, I'm going to end up leaving them comfortless. And they need to be able to still kind of be at least under my wing for a little while until they get their legs strong. Once they get their legs strong, they can run off and do whatever they feel like doing, which is one of the reasons why I don't really stress you go and you study with this person. I don't care. Study with whoever you want. It doesn't matter to me because I don't want to die with 1,000 godchildren standing around me anyway. You know what I mean? So it's not, and I'm not a real big sociable person like that anyway. So I've never been one of those priests that want to have 1 million godchildren calling me because your phone never stops ringing when it's like that. Baba, Baba, Baba. But I never wanted that. Come get this medicine and then get on up out. Get away from me. I'll see you when I see you. Go on your journey and learn what you need to learn. But I don't want to lord over anyone, and I don't want to handhold anyone through their journey. So that's one of the reasons why I also stress really educating people and really getting them to a place where they're learning and they're growing and they're strong on their own, and then they can make intelligent decisions as to what they want to be in a tradition. You may decide, hey, look, man, I don't want 5 million pots all around my house. I don't want all these shrines. In fact, I don't want any shrine. I had a sister say that once I used to work with. I trained her to be an apatebi, and she was like, Baba, to be honest with you, I don't want all that stuff. I don't want the pots and all. And I was like, good. Now you're thinking next level. She was like, I want to be able to have all that in my mind and really be able to manifest on that level. I said, good. That's what we're talking about. Now, she didn't come in the door like that. She came in the door very religiousized because she came from Santeria on top of that. She's a Puerto Rican sister. And by the time I was done with her, she was really on some self-actualization and knew her orishas. And like I said, I trained her to be the apatebi, manifested herself a husband. Actually, she just had a baby, too, her first baby a couple months ago. So, being able to kind of really guide someone through their process is critical in that sense. It helps tremendously.
Okay, thank you for that information. Let me go to 813.
Greetings, y'all. How you guys doing?
Greetings.
Hey, peace, brother Anwar. We're good. How you doing today?
Man, I'm a little under the weather, man. I got a little sinus thing going on. I don't know. Yesterday, I'm well. I'm well. I'm hitting the lemon and mint right now. So lemon and mint water.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll get it out of it. But
it's warm water, right? You're drinking it warm, right?
Yeah, of course, lukewarm.
Okay, good.
I don't do that cold stuff. Right. But I just wanted to give a quick experience and a testimonial. Okay. Quick experience is at my house. The house that I came from kind of destroyed itself from within. I won't without getting into too much details. It's just it collapsed on itself because of some, I guess, wrongdoing inside of it. And ever since I've been listening to the shows, reading the books, and I've learned one thing is that you have to get yourself right, and you have to get that Ori together. And that's what my main work has been for the last year. And that right there, just dealing with the Ori is important. And it just goes, I'm just supporting what you were saying, Chief, earlier about people learning about self-actualization and working themselves first before they get into all the initiations, consecrations that they might get into. But it's, for me, that's been working the best for me, is working on myself to make sure that I am getting my physical body a little bit cleaner and my thought process cleaner, and so forth and so on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of related to something that I posted recently about priestesses and goddesses and women who really kind of give themselves these titles and have a lot of other issues going on. And so what I said was that, how can you be this when you don't have really a good handle on, or, just being a woman, or even your relationships with men. So any ritual that you do is, of course, going to be tainted. It's not going to work out the way you think it's going to work out. And even what you were just saying about the Ori, I know one of the things that a lot of people come in wanting to do is wanting to do readings and stuff from each other, because until I got into the studies with I knew more, I saw that there were tons of people that were offering readings. Like, everybody is doing readings. And so when I even found out about the Ori and how important it is just to work with that, even before you go to Orisha, is that if I'm not working with my Ori, or if I don't know what I'm doing with that, any kind of reading I do for myself is going to be off. And especially any reading that I do for somebody else is going to be off. It's going to be wrong. So I wasn't saying that to just give a slight to people who profess themselves to be certain things, but it's like I've seen it so many times where even within Anu, there are students who we have students who maybe just come in and go back out, or just run through classes and go back out, and then all of a sudden you see that they're advertising things for services that I'm like, wait a minute, you didn't get that here. So how effective can these readings and can your guidance of somebody be? Because it's a huge, huge, huge responsibility to be able to do that. And you'll probably find out once you really learn how to do it, that you don't really want to do that. That's really not something that's as glamorous and as fun as you think it is.
Well, it's a hustle for people, because if you really think about it, and this is, again, it takes you back to some of the social media conversations. Who told you could do a reading? Who told you could advise anyone on anything? See, a lot of times people don't understand that when it comes to being a priest or an awo for an area, it's not just about your divination. Like, I did a reading with someone yesterday, and she did this to me. It was really annoying, but I expressed my annoyance with her. Like, she had a situation. She was kind of talking crazy. And I'm breaking down the situation, and she was like, are you doing the divination? Is this the divination? Is this the divination? And the thing is, people don't understand that as priests, our word is the divination. So, like, when you read the Patakis and the Sacred Odu, it will tell you that the Babalawo advised this. So the Babalawo is wiser than you are because of the energies that they're interacting with. So to just jump up because you got a tarot card book or whatever, and, now you're saying, okay, now I can advise people, and meanwhile, half the time, your life is in shambles, because the only people who really want to jump up and start advising people are usually people who are not following their own good counsel. So now they create this world where they know everything. They create a new world for themselves. But, this is a real simple thing. Like I said, who told you you are qualified to tell anyone anything? That's not African. You got people who've been reading for a year or less, and they just got some tarot cards, and they don't even know what the word tarot means. They don't know anything about the Kabbalah. They haven't read the Zohar. They don't know anything about the paths. They don't know about the tree of life. They don't know anything. They just got these tarot cards in a tarot card book. And they've done a couple of readings and they hit a couple of marks. But that's very easy to do. You don't need cards to do that. We're all intuitive and psychic to some degree. So it goes beyond your ability to just look at some cards or look at some shells or whatever and say, well, it's this, that, and that, and the third. You got to have a certain mental development in order to be a wise person, because it is your wisdom that tells you what to say and what not to say, and how to say it, how not to say it. And it's your wisdom a lot of times that extends beyond what the cards or the shells or the opwele or the iken are telling you. Sometimes I do readings for people. They'll come into the shrine. They'll start talking. I put my divination tools away. And I'll tell them, you don't need a reading. This is what's going on with you. And it's about guidance at that point. So when I look at some of these people, especially, like I said, a lot of times people don't even know what they're doing with their own life. I say, who told you could get up and start talking? Some people, that's the hierarchy of our community. It's just like if you go to a community meeting and there's elders in the place, you can't start talking. You got to ask for permission to speak, because it's known that if you're a child, or even if you're just not an elder, you don't know as much about what's going on as the elders do. So it's about knowing protocol and knowing your place. And unfortunately, the accessibility of some of this information is a double-edged sword. It's good because things are not so secret anymore, but then it's also problematic because now everybody thinks they're getting into it and they're turning it into a hustle. And then it causes those of us who really know what we're doing and who've really gone through the fire to be looked at funny. And I mean, granted, that's a part of evolution. You find that in music, man. You got old school rappers who are mad at new school rappers because the new school rappers can now do their whole project in a hotel room or in their bedroom because of the technology. And the old school rappers are like, man, I remember when it was 2 turntables and a microphone, and it took us 3 weeks just to do one song because we had to bring guitarists in and drop. Yeah, we ain't got to do all of that, OG. Like, so now we can get our music out there quicker and control our product. But what is the downside of that? Every fool can create products. So that's why you got so much garbage out there. No one has to go through the fire. So there has to be a balancing between the two. So you're right. I have seen, and I don't call them students. There have been people who tried to take my class and then go out and either steal my information or just pick and choose what they think they needed. I get that a lot. They'll say, well, I didn't read the whole book or go through the whole class. I just got the parts that I needed. You don't know what you need because you're a child. If you just came into your culture and your spirituality 1 year or 3 years ago or 4 years ago, you're a baby. That's why in this tradition, when you get initiated, people ask you, or even if you're not initiated, they'll say, how old are you? Like, you may go to a botanica and stuff. If you don't even know what that means, you really need to fall back. If somebody says, how old are you? They're not asking your physical age. They're asking, how long have you been initiated? So you may say, I'm 3, I'm 4, I'm 8, I'm 9. Some of us, I'm 20. It's a big difference. So if I say, how old are you? And you say, I'm 4, you ain't ready to be advising anybody. At 4, you're still a baby. So look at it just like in human years. If you tell me you're 10, oh, you're 10? You're still a kid. You're getting there, but you're still a kid. So that's why you may not find people who really are potent at what they're doing until they've been in this way for 15, 20, 30 years. Because now you're an adult.
Right. Okay. I think Tareem is back. Go ahead, Anwar. After you finish, I'll bring Tareem back in.
I just wanted to say, like, one thing about learning about your Ori, too, you kind of start finding your purpose. Well, you do start finding your purpose. Like, my purpose, I don't personally feel my purpose is to be a priest. And if I am going to be a priest, to be a guidance, more of a guide for my children and the people that are around me and the people that I help, I see myself being more physically active with my talents, like how Chief breaks it down with my arms, legs, hands, and it's just, I never came into Ifa saying that this is what I want to be as a priest. The Ifa's called me to be, but that's a whole different topic. But my purpose right now, I personally feel, is really dealing with my talents. So I just want to chime in on that. And the rapper's still working with Pro Tools God. The Pro Tools God has made it very easy for him.
Mm-hmm. Right. And do you remember it wasn't even like that, because you remember you used to have to have Pro Tools HD. So you remember back before you had to buy the whole system, and then they came out with the inbox, and the inbox was what, like $399, something like that. So for like $399, you could get Pro Tools LE. And now people were saying, oh, yeah, I know Pro Tools. And then it just started shrinking more and more from there. But I had one of the first Pro Tools systems back in the days. And I'm going to tell you how old that system was. I remember being in Sam Ash and bragging to a musician friend of mine that I had Pro Tools HD and I had 75 megabytes of RAM in my computer. Okay, not gigabytes. Megabytes. And I was like, yeah, I'm running 75 megs. And he was like, what? He's like, how many tracks you getting? I was like, I'm getting like 16 tracks. No problem.
I think that was the 101. I think that was the 101, the Digio 101. I don't know if it's the 001
or the 101.
After,
yeah, the Digi 101. Yeah, the Digi 101 came after. But yeah, it's exactly that, man. It's, a lot of people have gotten in through side doors. And unfortunately, they're talking to a populace of people with no culture who don't really understand. They don't know what to look for. So they don't even know that, no, this person is not ready or they're a charlatan, because we don't have that level of cultural protection. And I mean, we could say that in so many different things. It even goes down to the relationships. Who's really letting you know this one's a real woman, this one's a real man, and it just goes straight on through. There's a lack of guardianship that many of us are experiencing that's causing that problem.
Okay, I'm going to bring 904 back in. You're back, Tareem?
Hey, how you doing, Sister Kim? I'm back. I'm sorry about that. I'll be working, man, so I just be trying to tune in and do two things at one time, man. It means really to, switch the subject back, you know what I'm saying? Because I was really tuning in on what, Chief was saying and everything. So, first of all, with me, I'm humble. I'm a humble dude when it comes to, listening to somebody who knows more than me, who, and I'm trying to learn from them. I consider myself, a humble person. I'm not, pompous or hard-headed in that regard at all. And I just had another question as far as, with my godparent. See, the most things when she asked, I didn't even know about her getting emo. And so my godparent, he told me that I needed to get that. Okay. You know what I'm saying? That I needed to get my getting emo. And I really didn't know about it other than, dealing with Yuya, dealing with the ancestors, the African ancestors, over there across the, Atlantic or whatnot, and I was just wondering, and when I try to get in touch with my godparents, he's not always available because they say they doing, other rituals and, different things for other people, where they're at, and I understand that. So that's why I was asking, would it be a bad thing? Okay, if I switched over, Chief. Like, say, okay, not saying that I'm leaving one family and going to another, so to speak, like that. Or maybe I am saying that. Would that be like I don't know, a cross transference of energies or conflicting energies or something like that? Or am I looking at it the wrong way?
When you say you're crossing or switching families, what do you mean? I need to understand that a little better.
Okay. When I got my ancestral part birth, he was telling me I was a part of Osabi, Ifusona, family clan or whatnot. And so I try to talk to him. I try to, call him. He live in Atlanta. They part of, Oyotunji and, stuff like that. And I try to get in touch with him, but sometimes I can't get any answers from him. So that's when I just turn to y'all. I go to, Brother Diedrich. I go to, different people in the Anu Nation. So I'm saying, like, if he told me that I was a part of this clan, if I switch over, I guess, to Anu Nation, is that a bad thing? Not. I know it's not a bad thing, but I'm saying, like, as far as the spiritual realm is concerned, like, I'll be switching from Oshabi to Anu. Is that a different or a conflict in spiritual training? I guess is what I'm asking.
Okay, let's back it down to this. I don't think you have any.
You gotta break it down from the Chief. I'm only like
we all over.
5 months. I'm only like 5 months old. Okay. I'm still doing the baby food and the Infamil and the Similac. So it's all new to me.
It's like that sometimes, man. It sounds like you don't have any training whatsoever.
Nah.
So, right. So when you say, like, okay, is it okay if I switch and move around? What are you really moving around from? You haven't. It doesn't. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really sound like you totally started your process as of yet. If you're working with, man, see, I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to seem like I'm talking about anyone. I almost wish you wouldn't have said Oyutunji, because I don't want to say anything that's taken as negative. Because I'm not saying anything negative, but I don't want it to be taken as that. But I would just say that if that's where do you live?
I'm in Jacksonville. So I'm in Jacksonville right now.
Oh, so you're in Florida.
I'm not talking bad about him. I'm not saying anything bad about him.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me.
Okay.
So you're in Jacksonville. So you're not far from them. I mean, they're in South Carolina.
Right.
So you're in
right
Florida.
Up 95.
Right. You go right up north of 95. I would just say, man, just start trying to, if you have instructors there, Oyutunji, really just try to start talking to them about setting up some standard classes for you. Like, can I come up once a month and get a lesson? Try to set it up like that. If that's where you are receiving your things and you're working through, you're not going to be able to talk. Like, Dietrich is not a priest. So he's not a preacher, an educator, a teacher, anything. He may be able to help you out because he's been in it longer than you, but you can't get information from your godfather, me, and Dietrich, and it's going to line up, because it ain't going to line up. There's going to be some discrepancies because I'm coming from a certain school of thought. I know Dietrich deals with Oyutunji, so he might be more aligned with where you're coming from, but at the same time, he's a baby in all of this too. He's a newbie too. So there's going to be a lot of things that he's going to be missing in terms of his understanding. So it would either be your godfather or it would be me. But I would say, honestly, I don't like with certain with certain elays, I don't like sharing the responsibilities of education, to be honest with you. Like, if you want to just join my class and learn, that's something on the side. But I don't like having to teach alongside other people who don't study or work in my same school of thought, because when it comes to this, it's very rare that you have instructors that are open. And I don't know your godfather. I don't want to know. I don't want you to say his name or anything like that.
Right.
But I don't know his style. You know, if he's like me, then it could be fun. You know what I mean? Because, like, you know, but if he's not, and he's more, let's say, I don't want to say traditional, because actually I'm more traditional. People just don't realize it. But if he's more closed and more religious, then it's going to be a problem. Then you know, he's going to be telling you, I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm not going to say he doesn't know what he's talking about, but it's just going to be conflict. Dag, brother. Yeah, there's a lot of noise, but it's just going to be, we're going to have to mute you, man. Let me bring that down. It's just too much noise. But I was just saying that, and you could bring them back in, Kim, when I'm done, but it's just too much noise in the background. Mm-hmm. I was just saying that it's very difficult sometimes to be put in that situation, because me, Chief Yuya, and Anu Nation, our get down is a lot different than most of these guys, these priests out here, and these priestesses. And again, I'm not trying to make it sound like we're better than anybody else, but what I am just saying is that a lot of people don't do what we do. Many of them can't do what we do. They don't know what we know. And it's like having one instructor who's a Hebrew Israelite and another one who's a Baptist preacher. The Hebrew even though they're both coming from the same book, the Hebrew Israelite is going to destroy the Baptist preacher, because the Hebrew Israelite is the one that goes in deeper into the information. They're really a warrior scholar. The Baptist preacher is just following the religion. You know, so just put me in that place of the warrior scholar in the Anu teaching. Yeah, we're dealing with Yoruba, and we're dealing with Kemetic sciences and so many other sciences around the continent, and even the Akan science, but our angle and our trajectory and our piercing of these subjects is much, much, much deeper than your average priest. I mean, most priests are not going to talk about the Kabbalah and Grecian deities and Kemetic deities and Urabic deities and metaphysics and quantum physics and thermodynamics in the same sentence. So when you start doing that, they look at that from the outside and say, oh, he doesn't know, he's blending things. He doesn't know what he's talking about, or this or that. And because I try to be nice about it, I won't say like, no, actually, you don't know what the heck you're talking about, and I can prove it in about 30 seconds. You know, I'll just say, all right, cool, whatever, say what you want. So I'm just saying it could become a very sticky situation. And please, I hope those of you who are listening, even though there's always one lemon in a damn crowd, but I hope those of you who are listening don't take that as me saying I'm better or what I teach is better. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not talking about Oyutenji at all, because I didn't build a village on American soil. Okay, so until you do that, you can't pop anything about Oyutenji, because what they did is magnificent, and what they're doing is magnificent. So I'm just speaking in general, especially me not knowing Tareen's initiator. It's a difficult spot to be in, because I can guarantee you study what I knew, I'm going to drag you out into very deep waters, and most people can't do that. You know, so I guess that's what I could say about that.
Okay. Let me see if he's
Can I say something, Chief?
Oh, yes.
Oh, there is.
Sister, y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. And I just want to come back again and say, you know, that I'm not speaking, you know, anything against, you know, Oyotunji village as well. I've never been there. I always wanted to go there because I heard a lot of great stuff about Oyotunji. It's just that my godparents told me a lot about it, or a little bit about it. I haven't, actually physically been there, although I am gonna go there, to check it out. And I don't want to put you on the spot, Chief, man. I really don't, but I just want to know what am I supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as like the two tribes, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I want to join Anu, because y'all have just like you said, it's deep, man. Y'all have so much information, and I learned a whole lot of knowledge, wisdom, understanding from Anu Nation in my 3 to 4 months of listening to y'all than I've, learned in years. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like it resonates with me to where, I feel like, it's a spot from his home, because, I agree with, most of the stuff. Well, I'm learning most of the stuff, so I don't have no choice but to agree, really. But I just don't want to do. I don't want to have no bad karma on me or anything like that.
No, it doesn't work like that, man. Well, let me just say that it doesn't work like that. Like, if you thinking a spirit's going to jump on you because you having an affair with another spirit, no, it doesn't work like that. Because at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, all of them are alive inside of you already. They already sharing space inside of you. You see, so learning each one just makes different ones prominent at different times. You know what I mean? But no, it's not that you. It's not like they're just sitting somewhere on the planet in a shrine, and then you come into the shrine, and now they say, okay, you over here with us. This ain't no Southside gang situation. They're all alive already in you, and when you go from shrine to shrine, each initiator, each teacher is educating you on how to bring those energies out of you that are already present. But, Tareen, over there got some donuts or something. Yeah, you got a plastic box of donuts. So the thing is, when you are working with the energies, it's really you might move around, but I would say that the premier question for you and for anyone else in a similar dilemma, what are you doing all this for? Mm-hmm. Ask yourself that question. Why are you even doing this? Because if you are getting fetishes and stuff, and the answer may be like, I'm just trying to do something African. I don't want to be Christian anymore. Okay, cool, whatever it is. But if the answer is, I don't know, I went and got a reading and they told me I got to do that, then that's problematic. So you have to know exactly why you're in this and what you want your expected outcome to be. So, for instance, like I spoke to Dietrich before about, you need to be running your own situation. He still hasn't done it yet, but if he goes and studies with Oyotunji and at the same time is studying with me, I'm not going to look at that funny, because I'm going to say, yeah, he needs to study with as many people as he can to be the leader that he's supposed to be. He might, after this, go take T.D. Jakes' class on ministry organization. There's nothing wrong with that, because to run a proper Elay, you got to know how to run. It's the same thing as running a church. You got to know how to run a church, how to deal with people, how to counsel. You got to learn the psychology of it, so forth and so on. So, depending on what you're here to do will determine what it is that you should do next. So that's a better question to ask, and then work backwards from that question. If you say, well, hey, man, I want to wake my people up, I want to teach and da-da-da-da-da, and you're in a situation now where you're not being taught anything, but you might say, well, I'm not being taught anything from an academics level, but they are teaching me how to do rituals and the songs and the dancing, and I'm just learning how a community works by sitting back and watching them. Okay, well, take those notes and absorb that game. Because, again, it's all game. Game is what? Knowledge. Okay, knowledge with style. So that's what you pretty much do in that sense. You soak up what you need to soak up, I don't require anyone to come into our new and study with only me. And that's why the membership form is so simple. It's only like 4 questions. There's no registration fee. There's no membership dues. There's none of that. And I did that on purpose. The reason I set it up that way is so that people don't feel like if I get down with our new, I got to give something else up. Now those who get the most out of this jump in with both feet. Yeah, absolutely. But that's not a requirement because everyone is here to get something different. So yeah, you can study with as many people as you want. But I would say this: if you're like in a more orthodox Ile, ask permission first. Okay, if you're in a more orthodox Ile, because you could definitely cause some conflicts with your initiators and your godparents by doing that. Because many godparents don't like you studying with anyone else but them, or getting readings or whatever by anyone but them. So if they're taking out time with you, working with you and guiding you, you don't want to offend them. All right, so I would say that.
Okay. So let me see if I can bring them back in. Tareem, are you still there?
Yes, Sister Kim, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. And well, okay. And I heard everything you said, man, and I appreciate that. But it's just,
sure.
Man, sometimes I feel lost and I can't get in touch with nobody. And I study a lot, man. I read
right.
as far as, the Yoruba tradition and grasping the roots of divine power. And, sometimes I be needing, and I don't know if it's that feminine aspect of me or whatever, but I be needing to talk to somebody to really, understand certain things, and I be wanting to, communicate and develop that sense of family or whatnot. But
right.
I really don't feel like I have it right now. I feel like I'm alone in Jacksonville, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just trying to find a home or a nation to build with,
Well, I absolutely do know. Yeah, I do know. That's the whole reason why we got the chapters popping and we got the men's call popping for that exact same reason, because the online thing is great because it allows us to connect with more people, because for years I did this person to person. I just started doing the online classes in 2011, I think, something like that. Maybe even 2012, like 2011, 2012, something like that. I started doing it online. But the past 20 years or so, it's been people coming to me or me going to them, but it's been very personable. And that was excellent. And there's definitely a difference in that. I also operated 2 temples at one point in Harlem and another one in New Jersey. So that was an opportunity for us to come together and commune with each other. The online thing was great because it gave me a break from all of that, and it also allowed the word to get out to more people. But the other flip side of it is that it helps to support the fragmentation of everybody. So that's why I'm always like, trying to encourage group conversations. That's why we have the community show. That's why we do the end of the month student panel, which students don't call in on. And to keep it real, they don't call in and share with each other. And that's why we also have like the chapters. Brother Charles, I'm sorry. The first chapter was in Germany. The first chapter we started. Well, I didn't even start it. These brothers out there started it. And that's what propelled me to start doing online classes when I found that out. And the brothers reached out to me about that. And then we had another chapter in Brazil. And these ones that people started by themselves. I had nothing to do with it. Okay, but then I just supported it afterwards. But then Brother Charles then started one in D.C. And then we got other ones that have been popping up. But all of that's an effort to try to bring people together a bit. And then what I do is as I travel, I try to meet with the chapters, you see. And then eventually, like we also have land in Ghana we're developing. We got some land here in the States that we're looking at right now as well. So eventually my hope is that people can come together, even if it's just for the retreats a couple of times a year, or they may say, hey, I want to come live near where y'all are at. And we could really get this community popping like we other people do. So I understand it. Like when you said, do you know? Yes, I absolutely do know. And it's something that bothers me all the time because I don't want to lose anybody because they're suffering of loneliness or suffering from alienation. I don't want anybody to fall off and say, man, I'm just going to go back to the church or the mosque or whatever, because at least there I had some brotherhood or some sisterhood. I don't want to lose people behind that. You know, so I encourage folks to get chapters popping in their areas. If you get at least 6 people, we get our new chapter going, I'll come down and I'll support it. You know, I travel a lot across the states. So if you have a chapter in your area, I'll definitely come and work with you guys and things like that. So, you know, just on a side note, but yeah, I do get it.
And just to clear it up, to start a chapter, what do you need to do?
Oh, okay. Well, reach out first to the organizer, organizer@inewlifeglobal.org, organizer@inewlifeglobal.org. You need to have at least 6 people, and of course, obviously, a place to meet. You need to be in the class. Okay.
That's what I was getting.
Yeah, you got to be in the class. You don't have to be.
Yeah, we've had people to say they wanted to start a chapter, but they're not signed up for the class.
Yeah, those are people who are not going to, they're going to start it or never start it. They're just talking, you know. But you want at least the person who's facilitating the chapter to understand or at least have a direction. The class gives you guys a direction. So you may say, okay, cool, we got a chapter. Our new spiritual training phase 1 has 10 components to it. So you might set up a schedule over the next 10 months. Together, we're going to do these lessons and work through them and so forth and so on. So you want to have at least the leadership of the chapters to be plugged into our new calculations and philosophies. So I would say that as far as what needs to happen. You know, but for more information, just reach out to the organizer@inewlifeglobal.org.
Okay. All right. We got another call here from 797. Greetings.
Greetings, Sister King. Greetings, Chief.
Peace.
Hey,
greetings.
Peace, brother. New number. He snuck up on us with a different phone.
Okay. It's the same phone line, Chief. It's the same phone line.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what happened. Yeah,
you got an American number here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll try to trick you. Yeah, Chief, I've been listening and I've been really enjoying the discussion. But something happened yesterday, Chief, which I just wanted to share in general terms to hopefully, so you could give me some insight or understanding as to. So, I mean, yesterday evening, Iya Katia was putting the children to bed, and then the oldest child here was just messing about, doing this thing, and something just came to me that it says, well, actually, you know, I'm only your parent. You're your own person, and that just hit me really hard that I'm only the parent. Not to say that I don't have responsibility, but actually, this is a person, it felt like this is a person in their own right, and I'm only the parent. So I don't really want to speak about my child in specific terms, but I know there was something behind that for me. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot behind that, man. I spoke on that a long time ago, a little bit. And interesting enough, I think it might have been the last community show where Sister Tasha called in and shared her feedback on a show that Kim had done with another sister, and that point was kind of touched upon, you know, in terms of, you know, like the stock. I always speak about the stock that we put in our children's journey, and a lot of times we lose sight that our primary responsibility was to bring them into the world healthy, and then after that, the resources that are made available to them, we could never match up with. Now, I know your oldest is not your oldest, but that's Ian's oldest, right?
Yes.
So, in many senses, that's her firstborn fruit. So, if you look at any spiritual tradition, even our Orisha tradition, your first harvest goes to your deities. You see, so your oldest child, or let's say her oldest child, because remember the woman is always responsible for the maintenance of the odus and the taboos in the family. So in many senses, like I always say, the man is the high priest, but the woman is the high. We'll say the shrine guardian. We could say that's the woman of the house. She makes sure that none of the taboos are transgressed. But her oldest or her oldest child is really going to be more the property of the spiritual kingdom than it is you two. You see, because that he's your first fruit. There's a lot to that, but you're absolutely right, man. Sometimes we put too much stock in the journey of our children, and their journey is their journey because they are Egun who we've favored and we've gifted the opportunity of coming back to the planet. That was a gift because you didn't have to do that. You could have held your seed, but you said no. I'm going to let you come back and work out your karma. Now, your child's karma or their previous lifetime karma is not particularly yours. So therefore, whatever their journey and their construct has to be in this lifetime, it's going to really be exclusive to them, because it's their own journey. Now, ultimately, them balancing out their karma balances out the karma of your entire ancestral pool, but each child comes back through because they have a specific thing to balance out. So if you get in the way of that, they're going to fight and rebel because they know, listen, this is a matter of life and death, that I have to do this. And the first child even more so because they're made up of more fine matter than they are coarse matter. Coarse matter is our human selves. The fine matter is our astral body. That one is made up of more fine matter because they are the property of the spirit world, because that's your first offering. That's your first fruit. That's why in all families, the firstborn is always completely different than the rest of them. You always notice that.
Yes.
They always
so.
the one.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but sometimes I sometimes observe them to be communicating with spirit.
Right.
We'll be speaking to one over there, and then
we've discussed
to one
that.
Over there.
Yeah. And he's been doing that for some time.
Yeah.
That's also the one that was talking about goat sacrifices one time.
Right.
Him and his little brother, they were in the kitchen playing, and I remember this. I don't remember every detail, but they were in the kitchen playing. I think they had knives or swords or something like that, and they said, we're gonna give a goat to Eshu or something like that. But what they were saying had I never talked to them about that. I was working with them. I never tell them about no goat sacrifice. So again, he's made up of more fine matter. He's made up of more astral matter, and they all have that, but it's going to be more apparent in your oldest, each of your oldest, because you technically, I don't know. Well, you have two oldest. I mean, we could almost say you have three oldest, because you have the Ibeje, but even in that group, you're going to find the oldest are always going to be different because of it's just like the Ibeje. You have Taiwo and Kayinde. And the one that comes through first is the one that experiences more of the world. So their energy is a little bit different, even though they may be Ibeje, they may be twins.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm the firstborn, by the way.
And you're the firstborn.
I say I'm the firstborn, by the way, and the black sheep of my family. Like
I was getting ready to say,
I'm going a different way.
Yeah, you're probably the only conscious one, and
yeah,
it's always like that, man, because you're made up of more spirit matter. The first one is always like the Obatala of the family. Obatala is not right here so much. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, hey Chief Yuya, man, when I was getting my reading, that's who my yeye was telling me that was over my head as far as that is concerned. Obatala.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that just resonated with me also. So wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can't even be surprised at these things anymore, man. These are old ancient sciences that our ancestors figured out, man. So there's nothing to be surprised about. It's just a testament to the brilliance of our lineage. You know, we come from brilliant people, man. We come from brilliant. You can listen to the language and see how brilliant it is. You know, if anyone of you has ever taken like Spanish or French in high school, you know, within a year or two, you can talk.
You got it. Yeah.
Yeah. That with Yoruba or Khan.
No. Mm-hmm.
I've been speaking Yoruba for since 1996, 95, 96. I still mess it up. I still get my words wrong. You know, and there's different. Like I speak more Temple Yoruba, and then you have Francophone Yoruba. So you have a Yoruba form that's like it's got French in it. You know, so it's a testament to the brilliance of our people, man. You know, we don't just say words; we add tones into the words, and you gotta have them both. And you know, Spanish or French, man, it's easy. You know, you just need the words. Yeah. You don't even need the tones. You know,
the verbs.
Learn
the verbs. You can pretty much. You
can talk.
Yeah.
You can watch Telemundo. Yeah.
Oh, so that's basically telling me when I be saying the Aduros in your book. I have to cast my obis every sentence. Like, is that right? That's how I said it.
You know what, Tareem, an easy way to learn it. An easy way to learn if you're saying it right is to listen to Yoruba music, or even start watching a lot of those Yoruba films that you'll find on
Nollywood
films. Just completely saturate yourself with the language, because even when I started trying to see if I was pronouncing things right, and I started listening to some of the praise songs, I found out, I was like, wait a minute, are they mixing Spanish and Yoruba? Like, I found that a lot of the songs maybe came from either like Santeria or something like that, and they were saying the things a different way. But then when I listened, completely different. And then when I started listening to the Yoruba praise song, I'm like, wait a minute, this is completely different from that. You know what I mean? It sounds completely different. It has a different energy to it, totally. On top of all the polyrhythms going on at the same time, so it's completely different. And so I was like, okay, let me stay over here for a minute and read the books, get the kids' books, get the little online tutorials, the music, the movies, all of that, and then you'll start to pick up words here and there.
Okay, yeah, get it in no time.
Chief, if I could just say thank you for that insight. That was really, really wonderful. Thank you.
You're more than welcome, my brother.
Yeah. And I also wanted to say that I found, we watch Nollywood here. We watch Nollywood. So I also, what I also was helped as well, Chief, is when you recommended that we try to study Ajapa.
Yeah.
So by watching Nollywood and reading Ajapa, it's given me Ajapa stories, because there's books you can buy online with Ajapa stories. Right. It's given me an understanding of the richness, the humor, and the brutality of Yoruba culture. You know?
Yeah,
because some of those Ajapa stories are cold.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah, man.
Cold.
Oh yeah.
It ends in death. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So,
and that's the key, like you said. like you said, it's the brutality and the humor. You know, Nigerians are some of the most funniest people you could ever be around, man. Like, you ever visit Nigeria, you'll be laughing nonstop, day and night. But you'll be on a taxi or something, and like the driver would just get out, punch somebody in the face. Like, they'll grab you, because usually they start with grabbing. They love grabbing shirts. They'll grab you by the collar. Yeah. They love doing it. You know, and stretch your collar all the way down, and I will beat you. I will beat you. I will go through you, and I will beat you. They'll do that for a little while, and then someone will come and break it up, and then like maybe one hit or something, and then they just drive on like it's nothing. You know, like
go back to the tour hall.
Yeah, exactly. You could be in a taxi and be like, man, what happened? Who was that? Oh, that is my brother. That's my father's other son. You know, yeah. You're like, oh, so that's your family. Like, that's like, yeah. You know, so, you know, but it's just, you know, it's just a different way of looking at it. And you'll find that when you start to understand the culture more, you will pronounce the words differently because certain things don't fit. You know, certain ways of saying things, the way we stress certain things don't fit in the language and in the movement. Like if someone says something here that we don't understand, we say, huh? Or excuse me, huh? What'd you say? When you're in that culture, you never say that. Like you don't feel to say, huh? Or if you understand something here, you'll say something like, I, you know, like I, yeah. You wouldn't say that there. If you don't understand, or if you understand something, you may say something like, aha, and it just comes naturally. You just start doing little influence like that when you say good morning to someone, or the facial expressions you make, because when you're making a joke, a lot of things with jokes, there's like it's in your expression, or you may pretend to be angry about something, you know, but you're joking. Everybody knows you're joking, you know, and it's but you don't crack. You don't here. We may have a smirk on our face when we're joking. Over there, the straighter your face is, the funnier the joke is. And then you may go back and forth.
Maybe serious.
You know, you go back and forth. You may do that for days with someone. Somebody may be selling a car or something, and you like, oh, you're a thief. You're a thief. You stole this car. There's no way this car should be. And you keep your face straight, and the person will say, if I'm a thief, then you come and you take the car from me. You can take the car. You know, you go back and forth, but you know you're joking because you kind of know the culture, and that's what makes you more friends with a person. Because, like in Yoruba culture, West African culture, your wit is what endears you to a person. That's what that's when they really like you, when they see how slick you are, when they see how quick you come back with the comeback and things like that. Or they'll say a joke to you, and you'll follow up with a quick joke. You know, and they're like, aha. They like that. And then you might do that back and forth. We don't really do that here. Here we'd be like, come on, man, stop playing. You know,
right.
It's different here. Yeah. You know, so when you start to learn those little influences like that, the way you say the language will just start to change automatically, because you'll start to become more African. You know, just do it. You'll see. You know.
Yes.
You'll become more African just by default. Yeah.
That's so true. That reminds me of when my wife went to, on the times we've been to the continent, my wife would go to the market. And going to the market is an experience of communication, joking, laughter, banter.
Right.
It's not a case of I'm selling that for X and then you buy it. Oh, no. There's got to be...
Oh, no.
There's a debate.
There's got to be a debate. There has to be a debate. And if you debate with someone, see, the pride of a market woman, because the markets are ran by women, the pride of a market woman is to have a customer. Now, I want you all to know what that means. A customer is not somebody just came and bought something. A customer is, whenever they come to the market, they come straight to my stall. This is my customer. Right. You form a relationship. So if you go to another stall it's a problem. You go to certain markets, like in Lagos, you go to one store, like I remember this one woman, I used to always buy my avocado. Because, certain things I eat, other people didn't really eat there. So they knew, like, when I'm coming, I want greens. Because it's hard to get greens a lot of times. So, I want with my cabbage and stuff and things like that. So, I haggle, I play and play and play and play. And that's what also lets them know that I'm not Oyimbo. I'm not a white man. Because I'm not scared to sit there and no. This is how much, you didn't pay anything for that. You got that off the street from a homeless boy. No, I'm not giving you no money for that. Madam, I'm taking this. You play and you do that. And then they're like, oh, okay, no, he's black. Because, he's slum. He's got a slum mind, so you do something like that. I remember one time doing that and then being at the market, I had a friend of mine with me and I walked him to another stall and the woman would not sell to me. And she said, no. She said, no, you're not my customer. No, you're her customer. I said, no, I'm not. This is not for me. It's for my friend. He was like, take your friend to her first.
Dang.
You see, because, she didn't want the problems. Because if I bought from her, the other sister would now be like, yo, what are you doing, man? That's my customer. Why'd you take my customer? Because you form a relationship. We have a bond now. So, like, if I come every Tuesday and buy avocado, that sister is getting avocado specifically for me. When I come there, they're already in the bag. If I normally buy 3 or 4 avocado, and this week I buy 2, she'll look at me like, what were you doing? Or she might just throw the other 2 in for free. Here, just take them. I know you want more. Because now we have a relationship, you see. So it's the little things like that. Like, we have no idea that here in States because we don't really own anything, And we live in a capitalistic society where it's like, well, listen, if the lady over there gives it to me for 2 cents less, I'm buying it over there. Back home, it's not like that, man. Because next thing you know, when you start forming those relationships, they'll start asking other questions. Like I've had women bring their nieces. This is my niece. Why don't you take her back with you? She's pretty, right? You're a fine man. You're a fine looking man. You two look good together. You start forming those type of real communal bonds like that, man. So I'm telling you, brother, when you have, maybe one day we need to go to Nigeria, and after you have that experience once and you come back, you're not going to have problems pronouncing any word because you know exactly the energy and the spirit you're supposed to take on when you say them. You're going to know just from interacting with the folk, interacting with the family over there.
Yeah. I want to go, man. I know I want to go. I want to visit at least like one time, like how they do in the Muslim community where they have to take a
pilgrimage. Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to visit Africa, one time before I leave this earth, though, for real.
Then we'll go. Okay. We'll set that up. That's what we were supposed to do, actually, 2017. The Africa. I didn't even announce it because I wasn't able to make it happen this year. But maybe 2018, we'll try to put that together. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go to 562. 562.
Hi, hello.
Greetings.
Peace.
Hello, everybody.
Peace,
hello.
Peace.
Sorry to call in so late, but I'm in Compton, so we have like a different time difference from here to there. So I apologize for that.
We got people calling from California.
Yeah,
we got some California people too. Yeah, we know what it was.
I just know you guys don't have much.
Don't get the excuse on the time zone difference though.
No, that's real because I took.
That ain't real.
I took Lawrence a call and I just went in and I saw how many time you guys have left. Right, like I just, like maybe 30 minutes ago. So I just saw how much time you guys had left on this call is what I'm saying. So I'm not, it's not enough time for me to actually speak on what I wanted to speak about. But I did want to apologize to everybody, for my little snippy, little bitchiness. I understand that I can be that way sometimes. But it's only because of a lot of the experiences. Hi, everybody. I'm Nancy. I call myself Made from Love on the internet.
Oh, okay.
Made from Love. Made from Love.
I figured that's who it was. Yeah.
Yes, this is me. Hello.
Greetings.
Hello.
Watch it.
So yeah.
Watch it.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I heard the tone of that hello just now. Hello.
I did too. I'm like, this is me.
Right?
Hello. Yeah.
We both picked it up. Yeah.
She done had around here with one of them.
I spent a lot of time in Compton.
It's not like that. I'm telling you, I'm so not like that, because I'm really a good person, you know, like I'm really understandable and all of those things. And sometimes I come off like that. Well, not sometimes. I came off like that because coming into this experience was great to me. You know, it was something new. I have been through so many other spiritual experiences that all came from my Christian core, you know, but maybe about a year ago, that was ripped away from me. Now, the gift that I got from that still stayed, but the whole practicing and reading and doing all that stuff, it kind of went away once I found out a lot of the things in there were like, you know, allegory and lies, fairy tales, you know, like certain things like that. So it kind of just like ripped it out, you know. And then on top of that, yeah, I guess you could say.
Okay.
I couldn't relate to it no more, you know. It just was like I just felt like God could not be like that, you know. So then I came into the whole Hebrew understanding of it, and then I was so excited because I thought, you know, I found some truth. This is real. And no, that wasn't either. So, you know, that was heartbreaking and disappointing. And then the people within those communities, like the leaders, have all kind of like done something, you know, that has made me see that they were liars, you know, or
human.
Right. Human.
No, real life liars though. Some are just liars. Some are just liars. Some are just deceitful because they want to gain what they want from you. You know,
that's about
so they're deceitful.
That's humanity. That's humanity, sister.
Okay.
Nobody. That's just them being human. Yeah. Come on, let up on them. Let up on them.
Because I was just gonna
give
add
them a little air to
that.
breathe.
Because I was gonna add to that. Chief is not a savior. He's not a Jesus figure. I'm not a Jesus figure.
I get that.
Yeah.
Didn't I tell you why? Oh wait, hold on, back up. Don't let her get her little shots in like that. Nah. What you mean you get that? What you mean by that, Nancy?
No, I'm saying like I understand. No, I'm saying like I understand that you guys are not like a savior or like that type of figure. I don't look at anyone like that.
She said cheap. She said you guys. She said cheap.
She was saying herself when I interrupted her as well.
No, she said chief. She said chief is not a savior.
And she said neither am I.
She said chief, and that's when you said, I know that. Then she said neither am I.
Okay.
Don't try to win this. You ain't going to win this with me. Knock it off.
Right.
The point I was trying to make is that I know you said you came from these other systems and they had faults. Well, I just don't want you to come into this and what we're doing, and then you find out something that you don't like, and then turn around and say that we're liars or we're something else too, because maybe somebody doesn't suit your taste. And that's like a Christian thing to do,
you know what?
To come in and look for somebody to be like a perfect savior or a perfect image of what you think they're supposed to be.
I would say this, though, because you know what? Sequoia brought this up. Hold on a second. Sequoia brought this up not too long ago. Remember when she talked about, no, it wasn't, it was either Sequoia, it was another sister who called in with a similar thing. And I'm going to say what I said to her to you, because I don't think she's saying that. I think she's saying that she got out of that paradigm. Like her eyes were open because of what she saw.
Okay.
But I'm going to say, if you do find something that's foul, react like you should. Like one of the problems that we have, and I'm just giving you this warning too, in this quote-unquote conscious community, because we're not a part of the conscious community, but sometimes people see really foul things about the quote-unquote leadership, but then they'll say like, well, but the information is good, and you know what? It's not about me following a person. It's about the information. But if the person is foul, it taints the information. It taints the spirit of the information. And every time I speak, you have to breathe in. You're ingesting. You're becoming impregnated with the thoughts and calculations. So all light isn't the same. It may look the same, but some of it can have dirt and at the bottom of it. You know, that's a particular phrase. It's a term that we use in this tradition when we talk about palm oil that has black spots at the bottom of it. And what it basically means is that all the palm oil looks the same, but there's something that lies beneath the surface that's dangerous for you. So, like, let's say if you find out tomorrow that I have done something very duplicitous or it's just wicked, who's making all them crunch noises? That I've done something that's very duplicitous or wicked, throw the baby out with the bathwater. Throw it all out. Because whatever I gave you before is foul and tainted based on my foul and tainted character. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say that I'm saying I'm perfect. So what I'm saying, I'm going to say what it is in terms of what I am and what I'm not, what the information is, what the information isn't, you know. And if my life is incongruent with that ideology, then get rid of all of it as fast as you can. So, like I said, I don't think, you know, I don't take it as you're saying. I'm kind of understanding what you're saying in terms of the leadership.
I hope so, because I'm very misunderstood.
Well, why would you hope that I understand you? Why would you hope that?
Because I don't want to be misunderstood, and I'm not trying to offend anyone, or I'm not trying to come off like, you know, I'm
how old are you,
smart.
Nancy,
I'm 33.
how old are you? I'm older than you.
Okay.
I'm wiser than you. I'm smarter than you. I'm more evolved than you are. There's nothing that you're going to say that I don't understand. I know. You don't agree with it right now. Yeah. Just sit with it for a moment. That's the faith that you have to have in your teachers. And if I wasn't all of those things, then go get somebody else to teach you. So you might say something, and I might give you an answer that doesn't seem like it's answering what you just said, but it's because I really understand what it is that you're saying.
I agree. I think you do. I think you do.
You think I do? Wait, hold on. Back up. We went from hope to
I know you. I don't know. I gotta say that. I think you do. I still can't continue. I can't just connect all the way like that quick, you know.
Well, then I just tell you to sit with it. Hold on, wait a second. I didn't tell you to respond to it. I said just sit with it for a moment. Okay. Remember I said that? Okay. So we could, like, you can go on what you're saying, but I'm saying I want you to hold that ideology for a moment. Reflect on it tonight. You know, when you're just moving around and saying, you know, is it possible that someone could be so far ahead of me that they actually can be a leader? Because a leader has to truly understand me and where I'm at in life. And if they're able to do that, then I can take their guidance. But that means in order for them to lead me and guide me and understand, that means they're miles ahead of me. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. So I just want you to hold that for a minute. You still on that agree stuff, huh? Okay.
Okay.
You knew. You're going to learn.
All right.
You're going to learn. Now let me hear the rest of your statement.
I want to. So that's all hard. Because I just wanted to say that, you know, just give a little understanding and a little patience to people that are like, you know, not so believing, you know, or, you know, I heard you say,
who needs to give more patience? Don't give me any advice on my show. What's the next thing you want? No, don't give me any advice.
I'm not trying to give you advice.
Listen, I'm too far ahead of you to advise me. You just tried.
Okay, and I'm not trying to. Okay, well, let me reword it then.
No, why are you going to reword it? It's the same intent.
Because
I don't need to do that. What I'm doing, you came into this experience, right?
Right. You're
learning, right?
Right.
Okay. So what I'm doing is working.
Okay.
If you knew how to do what I'm doing, you wouldn't have had to come into this experience. You don't know what I'm doing. You don't even know why I'm talking to you the way I'm talking to you right now. You don't even know why
I really don't.
Right, and you wouldn't understand it because you're not at this vantage point. You can't see what I see. So just follow along with what I'm saying, follow along with what I'm doing, and when you lose faith, then go find someone else to have faith in, or maybe that's the point where your legs are strong enough, and you'll just have faith in yourself and say, okay, I'm good now. I'll just let the universe teach me. But as long as you're a baby in this, hold on, no, not when I'm mid-sentence. As long as you're a baby in this, you're going to have to just follow along and have faith, and don't dare give me advice on what I'm doing, because a woman should never do that to a man, especially me. You do that with them other guys because you might be more evolved than the guys that you're around, but you're not more evolved than I am. So out of love, compassion, and understanding, I'm giving this information to you because I want to pull you along. What you want to say?
I understand that. Okay. I understand, Good. And I apologize. And I'm going to leave it at that. You
didn't offend anybody. You don't have to apologize.
I just, going through so many things with different, experiences and having that Jesus as your core or that, Yahusha as your core. And then once it leaves, it's like, okay, well, where do you pull from? Where do you get this strength from when you can't go get on your knees and pray and do all? Exactly. That's my point. So that's why when I stumbled upon this whole Orisha thing, I'm like, wow, maybe this will give me, the type of strength that I need to pull from myself. I want to encourage myself. I want to pray to myself. I want to be able to, I don't want to have to go in the room and cry and pray to this Jesus or this figure and hope that they answer my prayer. You know what I'm saying? I want to pull from myself. I want to, be my own strength and everything. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to lean on nobody. Right. I don't want to have to lean on nobody else for that. Nothing nobody made up for me. I don't want that anymore. So that's why when I came upon this, I'm looking for, strength. I don't want to have faith in you or faith in anybody else. I want faith in myself. You know what I mean?
You got to start somewhere because right now you can't have faith in yourself because you don't even know yourself. So my job is to help you to learn and find yourself. And then once you learn and find yourself, then you can have respectable faith in yourself because faith is an acknowledgement in what is not seen. It's a knowing in what's not seen. You don't know your unseen parts yet. That's why you said this Orisha thing. And you don't even understand that the Orisha thing are the forces that are alive inside of you. So when you say thing, you're talking about yourself. You could have just said this Nancy thing. I'm trying to learn this Nancy thing. Well, I'm going to teach you this
African
Nancy thing.
This ancient African tradition.
You don't know what to say. Stop saying words that you don't understand. Stop saying words you don't understand. Ancient African tradition. What? Stop trying to be deep and confident.
That's what it is. That's what I looked at.
It's not an ancient African tradition. It's not an ancient African tradition. It's an ancient cosmic tradition.
Okay.
And then after that, it was a Nigerian tradition. There's no such thing as African tradition. We just use this word. There's no such thing as that. See what I'm saying? Ride along and stop trying to debate.
I'm not trying to debate. I'm telling you now how I feel.
All right, you got enough for the chief. The chief has spoken.
Hit
the gong. Gong. Yeah, we're gonna get all that feistiness out. We're gonna get all that sauciness out of you. We're gonna get the fight out of you, and then we're gonna get you directed to some real learning. And then after
so you don't think that's a good thing?
Real learning. No, it's a ridiculous thing. It's the reason why you ain't got no man now.
I don't want a man now. I can't just have any clown in my life, sweetheart. It does not work that way.
How did I know you didn't have a man?
I don't know. But I'm okay with you not knowing. I'm okay with everybody not knowing that I do not have a man.
Stop talking so much. You talk too much. That's what you should be asking yourself. Okay, there you go. Now you can listen. That's what you should be asking yourself. How is it that he knew that? What is it that I'm giving off that's showing that level of mental disorder and spiritual disorder that he can tell I don't have an anchor? That's what you're here to learn. Now, there's going to be a lot of negative comments on this video. Now, you know what I'm saying to you. You know what I'm saying to you is out of concern and affection. Everyone else is going to say, he didn't even let the sister speak. Sister was trying to speak. Don't worry about that.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good on this call. I am not offended. I accept the correction. Everybody listening, this is fine.
You got enough time, Nancy. I gave you a lot of gems that you need to ruminate on.
Okay, but
the Orisha thing is the Nancy thing. Go ahead, let me hear.
And
come on, run it down.
No, because that just kind of made me feel a certain way though, because it's like I need you to understand that the men that I meet in my life, they're weak.
Stop saying that to me.
I cannot.
Stop saying. All right.
So,
do I have to make an
I'm
example
done.
out of it?
I'm mute. No, I'm mute. I'm done. I just have to say that.
So you're going to say something ridiculous and then mute. You need me to understand why you have a man in your life?
No, because you just said it as though you knew exactly why and what's going on.
I do.
Like you don't.
I do.
All right.
Part of what you're doing right now is the reason. You saying, well, why am I going to be with somebody weak? Well, why do you keep attracting weak people around you? Why are you even in the company of weak people? You sure?
I don't even.
Am I weak?
Sure.
Am I weak?
I wouldn't be here if you were. That's what I'm saying. Like,
okay, and I'm talking to you right now, and you still talking, right? So then that lets me know that you don't know how to be in the presence of a strong man. That's why you keep attracting weak men, because that's what you could deal with right now. So I'm teaching you how to be in the presence of a boss. And that's going to require you to talk a lot less than what you used to. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. Let's go to the next call. Thank you, Nancy. That was beautiful.
All right. Let's see. We got 443.
Hey, peace, y'all. How y'all doing? This is Tasha.
That's a surprise.
Yes, it's been surprise.
Country sass.
Look here. Look, I just got to tell you. First of all, let me say to the caller, Miss Nancy, was that her name?
Nancy, Made from Love.
Yes.
Conflict
okay.
USA.
First of all, I'm gonna give her kudos for even calling in. I thought that was
absolutely.
super brave of her.
That was great.
That was super brave.
Great.
I commend her for that. However, and y'all know I always got a story to tell about my husband and I. And by the way, he wants to shake your hand if he ever meets you, because I've been a lot less inquisitive and questionable, since I've been one on the women's calls and then on the, Tuesday and Thursday shows. And a lot has changed with us for the better.
Awesome.
And I got a car out of it too.
Marital tricking. Ain't nothing like tricking within a marriage. That's legal. That's legal tricking. Go on now. Shake that
thing. You said that's legal tricking.
Well, I mean,
Hey, it is what it is. So that's good. You happy.
But that's what I'm saying, though, because in getting this car, we had to go through a lot to do it. It had to cross state lines and all this stuff. And the whole time, I'm here in Florida, he's in Baltimore, and he's telling me what to do. He's like, all right, I need you to call these people, do this, so we get the title switched over, blah, blah, blah. And I got a million questions in my head, like, I don't think that's going to work. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he could feel me, like, silently fighting against him, and he was like, what you want to say? I know you got 1,000 questions. And I'm like, no, you good. all right, then. You can, I'm going to call the people. The whole time, I'm, like, in complete panic mode. So when he finally came back, he was like, I really want to thank you for, just let me do this. Like, I know what I'm doing. Like, it's going to work. I told you it was going to work. Thank you for just listening to me and just doing what I asked you to do. Now you got a car. And he was like, I think that's that cheat talking. I'm going to have to shake his hand next time I see him, because, see, he done learned you real good.
Learned you real good. That's the father from The Color Purple. This is hard and right.
That's what happens when you take the spice of something.
That's beautiful, though. That's a beautiful.
So thank you,
success story.
You, and definitely thank you, Sister Kim, because it really opened my eyes to a lot of the push and pull that we've had in our relationship over the years. And even though the last, I'd say, maybe 7 years or so have been the best out of the 20 years, I'm able to reflect back and be like, man, we could have had a lot more better years if I just would have gotten out of this man's way and let him lead this family. I'm always, well, what about this? Well, how we gonna do this? I got to have a plan. Well, let's write it down, do all this. And he's just like, how about you just let me do this? You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't need to write it down. Like, I know. Like, come on. And we would just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And now that I'm able to just fall back, let him do this, first of all, it's a lot off my shoulders because I was tired of, I got to call the people, I got to do this, and I got to do that. He's doing it. It's working. It's great. He's appreciating me for having him do this. I'm appreciating him for him actually doing it. And it's just a good thing all the way around. So, long story short, no problem. But, just to Miss Nancy and, I guess whoever else may be listening, if you have a strong man with you in your presence, whether it's your father, your husband, your boyfriend, or whoever, just let him be that. Let him be great. And then when he's great, then you're great. And you might get a car.
And get some lunch in you.
Yeah, make a figuration. Put that work in.
Do some learnedness.
Yeah.
Y'all know how I do.
Make it rain, man. Make it rain like Lil Wayne. Make it rain. In the bedroom. In the marital bedroom,
yes, in the marital bedroom.
In the marital bedroom. Make it rain like Lil Wayne.
Oh, my goodness. But that's all I wanted to say. I ain't want to hold y'all.
Okay. No problem. Thank you, Tasha.
All right. No problem.
See, you guys don't know the Tampa grammar yet. Learnt is how we say it. That's how it goes down. Learnt it. We learned.
Oh, we know it. We've heard it in movies and documentaries. Yeah.
Whose car is that? Let me mute what it is.
I'm muting myself.
Okay, that wasn't Anwar. Everybody said Anwar at the same time.
Because it usually is. My bad. I'll take that back. It usually is.
Nah. Hello?
That was Kareem.
Yeah, that was Kareem. I'm going to make y'all learn my name. Y'all going to learn me today. No, I'm sorry about that. I apologize. Go ahead. But, yeah, man, that's a beautiful thing, though, man. You can hear it in her voice now, how she's growing. You know what I'm saying? She's happy in her relationship, all because, she took the advice, from a new nation, man. It's a beautiful thing, man. It really and truly is, man. It's healing. And you can hear that. You can feel that. You know what I'm saying? When somebody's talking, whether they be in front of you or whether they be, over the phone, you can feel and hear that person's spirit, that, that healing, that happiness. You can feel it all.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we have any other callers. I think they don't have any other hands up. All right, so we've actually come to the end of the show. We've gone over the time just a little bit. But thank you, everybody, for calling in. Thank you, May from Love, for calling in, because a lot of people leave comments and don't show up. So,
woo!
Wait a minute. Okay, I got to mute. I think, is that Kareem again? Okay, I don't know.
Sounds like somebody sleigh riding, going down the hill in a sleigh.
So we'll continue the conversation on Thursday. Yes, Thursday. And make sure you call in. The number is 515-605-9862. Make sure you download the app if you have an Android or Google phone. And again, if you want to be a part of the ministry, make sure you go to anewlifeglobal.org to sign up. That's for the men or the women. And we'll get you in the groups.
Yeah.
Did I forget anything?
I want to just add something. One, I'm proud of Made from Love. I'm proud of you, Kim. And I'm proud of Lola Parker, because there was tension or possible tension between all three of you. Between some of these comments that were made and things that were kind of thrown around. And over the past few strongs or so, you all have been able to bring that to an arrest and come to some place of sanity. If I had Lola on the phone, I would have jabbed at her the same way. So I'm just, I was messing with Nancy or Made from Love like that. Just lightening up what was there, because it could have really went in a bad direction. And, that's really just about when people come in, a lot of times there is that hurt and that confusion, and they're looking for something that works, and they're cynical and they're expecting it not to work. And people are coming into this healing experience because they're sick. That's why they're seeking out healing. So we understand that a lot of times the first approach may not be the most graceful. People may come in cursing you out or saying rude things and things like that. We're trying to limit that to a greater degree. But there's a compassion and the understanding that if you were completely balanced and sane and equalized, you would not need to necessarily come into this experience. But there's something that's off that needs to be fixed and rectified. But, just be careful about intentionally or recklessly damaging or offending those who are reaching out to help you. But like I said, I just wanted to express my gratitude for all of y'all being able to come to a better space. And like Lola apologized to Anwar, and you and Nancy apologized to one another. And like I said, I would love to see all three of you with Sister Michelle, because Sister Michelle is the quiet storm. She's the voice of reason. I would like to see all four of you do a show together and just speak about maybe some of the things to look out for coming into a situation, or maybe even some of your experiences that would help other people in terms of what to look out for, or especially help the men to understand why sometimes the sisters come across like that. Sometimes why they're so snippy or whatever. What has happened prior to that's bringing them to that space. So you kind of already know what to expect to some degrees when you see certain patterns and how to, delace or defeat those patterns,
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, and I also wanted to add, I just want to say when doing these shows and I'm speaking about something or picking a topic, again, she said at the beginning, this is an open forum. The only time I really pick a topic to speak about is because nobody on the phone is saying anything. We have a lot of people that just call and just sit and just listen. So now I have to perform, so to speak. So sometimes I'll have to prepare something ahead of time to talk about just to get people to open up. And I've said it before, I'm not a radio host. This is a fairly new experience for me as well. So, and again, my skin is not as thick as Chief's. So when I'm doing something, first of all, it's out of my comfort zone anyway, and I'm in a vulnerable state. When people come back and kind of snap at you or say something like that, like I said, my skin is not as thick as Chief's, and I have not been counseling and helping people as long as he has. So, just kind of keep that in mind sometimes, because just like I'm doing this show, somebody else can come in, take the training, get the teaching, and go through the things that I've gone through and continue to go through, and then put yourself on the platform for everybody to point at and talk about and jeer at, and see how you handle it. The past few topics that we've been talking about with relationships and everything, it really has just kind of worn me out, seriously, because the comments and everything that has been said has been kind of brutal. And so because of that, I really would prefer that the original intention of the show would kind of stand. You all come up with the topics. You all can bring it up. You all can talk about it, so that I'm not, so that I don't have to come up with uncomfortable topics for different people, So I just wanted to say that I thank all of you for supporting and for calling in when you do and contributing when you do. And for those who have those critics or have something to say, I'm inviting you to step up to the challenge. I'm not the only one that can do this. And we have asked other people if you would like to be a part of what we're doing, or if you would like to volunteer your time and everything and do this, you can.
All right, let me fix some of that real quick,
okay.
Kim. No, you can't. Some of y'all are too ignorant. We don't want you. So those of you who have so much to say, go start your own show. Okay? So let me just, and I appreciate your faith that you have in people and everything, Kim, but no, some people are just animals, and I'm not going to let them on my platform to just be even more vicious to a broader audience. That's why they've been deleted and blocked and things like that off of the channels. So no, this isn't a place for everyone to come and unzip their pants and take a dump in the middle of the stage and walk off. Some of you are not worthy of the experience, and you've proven that. So you need to go clean yourselves up. To attack people and it's really unprovoked and things like that, there's some development that you have to do, especially if you don't come back from that. And again, I'm not speaking about those who have turned it around and have said, wait a minute, maybe I could have came at that a little different or whatever. Some folks are just troublemakers, and this is not a free fall. If you want to call in, you're welcome to do that, but don't be surprised if you get muted, kicked off the call, or if I'm on it, if I put you in check real hard. Okay, so Kim was built to be in this position, to be able to speak, and that's why whenever she talks, and people say, "Oh, you just saying stuff the chief says," she's supposed to, because she's learning from her life. She's gathering that and she's reflecting that, and that's what's supposed to happen. And that's why when you listen to her, 99.9% of the time, things she says are on point. She's not up here saying a whole bunch of crazy stuff. And a lot of times she brings sanity and clarity to the people who are on the show who are not making sense. But the problem is some of you don't know that because you're neophytes. You haven't grown enough in any of this knowledge or these traditions, so you just see everyone here as equal, but they're not. She knows a lot more than she tells you. That's why she teaches the classes at Sadulu House. And I wouldn't put anyone in any position who's going to embarrass me, who's going to be saying a bunch of things that are against what I'm teaching or against the truth. Okay, so some of you have no learning. You're unlearned. And you don't deserve to be in this spot. You can't stand up here and start speaking and going on for hours and hours with your unfounded theories. And that's what some of the callers do sometimes. And Kim is very nice about that. Because some of y'all I would shut down quickly because you're talking nonsense, and some of you have learned to use big words in a dumb sentence. All right, so I don't want to come in with all that venom, but I just want to check some of that because Kim is being benevolent right now, and I do appreciate that. But this is not for everybody. Some of you need to not be here. Okay, and like I said in 2017, Gregorian, that's going to become more and more apparent. We all going to act right. Everybody's going to act correctly, at least when they're in this space. You're going to be respectful. You're going to respect protocol. You're going to respect the women. You're going to respect the men. And if you can't do that, you won't be here. That's fine because there's a million other blog talk shows, and there's 1,000 other that are more popular than this one. We're just a little tiny shop. Okay? You don't need to be here. All right. So I just wanted to say that.
Well, thank you.
Sure.
Because you put it much better than I did. But, yeah. So, anyway, we'll be back on Thursday. Make sure you download the app. Sign up for the classes. Sign up for the classes. Sign up for the classes. And sign up for the ministry. All right. Peace.
Peace.